so glad to see you for another Storytime week. Are we having fun yet in this really long winter? This doesn't even feel like it's anywhere near the end yet. But we have so much snow already. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I hope you're finding lots of fun things to do inside when you can't go outside. I have been doing all sorts of crafts and things in my house. Have you done lots of crafts? Maybe you've drawn some pictures or even made pictures where you cut out shapes and glued them to paper to make other kinds of pictures. That's kind of fun to do. Or maybe you've done some things with yarn or string. If you made something you're really proud of, I would love to see it. You could always send me an email at the library and I would love to take a look. Maybe I'll even show it to some other people too. But we've got some good stories today and I'm really excited to share them with you. So we should go ahead and get started, right? Right. Here we go. Clap your hands if you love stories. Clap your hands, I know you do. I'm so glad that we could be together. Glad to share a story time with you. This story that I'm going to tell you now has a surprise in it. A secret. And I bet that you are smart enough that you're going to be able to guess what that surprise is before we get to the end of the story. You guys are pretty smart and pretty good guessers. This story has some pictures to go along with it, sort of a map. Let's see how it goes. And this story starts with a little boy named Tommy. Do you know what letter Tommy starts with? What letter goes t, t? That's right, T. So I'm going to draw T for Tommy here. Make it a little bit bigger. A great big T. And Tommy had a best friend whose name was Sally. What letter does Sally start with? S. S. That's right, the letter S. Sally lived just down the road from Tommy in a dairy. A dairy is a place where they take milk and they turn it into butter and cheese and cream and all kinds of good things. Well, Tommy lived over here in a house that was shaped like two big triangles. Let me show you how that looked. So 1, 2. You see those triangles? Those were the 2 rooms of his house, and they each had 1 window in them so that he could look out and see the sun during the day and the moon at night. And when he got cold, he could light a fire in a fireplace. He had 2 fireplaces, which means he had to have 2 chimneys, right? Those are nice chimneys. And when he wanted to leave his house, he had a very nice little double door down here at the bottom that he could use. And when he left, there were 2 bushes, one on each side of the door, that were made of long, tall grass that stood up. They were so pretty. He loved his bushes. One day, Tommy said to himself, I'm going to go down the road to see Sally and buy some cream. So he left his house and he walked down the road to see Sally. And when he got there, he said, Sally, I need to buy some cream. And she said, that's great, I can do that. We need to go down in the basement though. That's where we keep it. So they went down into the basement and poured some cream. And they started to climb back up the steps, but Tommy spilled the cream, spilled the whole bucket. And Sally said, we have to go back down. Maybe this time I'll carry the bucket of cream up. They came back up. And then Sally said, why don't we take a shortcut back to your house? So they started walking along to his house. And before they got there, before they got to the big hill they were going to have to climb to get back up to his house, they came to a slippery spot. And down they slid. And then they had to climb back up. But then Tommy spilled the bucket again. He knocked into her and they slid back down on that slippery cream. Oh. So they got back up and then they started climbing the hill, the long, long hill to get back to his house. And when they got there, Sally sighed really loudly and she said, "I wish that we hadn't spilled all the cream." And Tommy said, "Me too." And Sally said, "If we had all the cream, we could have given some to the great big black cat." Did you guess that that was what we were making? A great big cat. The end. All right, we're going to do a finger play about kittens because we have a cat in the story. So these are our kittens. 5 little kittens standing in a row. They nod their heads to the children, so they come nod. They run to the left. They run to the right. They stand and stretch as big as you can in the bright sunlight. Along comes a dog looking for some fun. Meow! See those kittens run. Let's do that one more time. 5 little kittens standing in a row. They nod their heads to the children, so they run to the left. They run to the right. They stand and stretch in the bright sunlight. Along comes a dog looking for some fun. Meow! See those kittens run. This is the story of the 2 clay pots. Once upon a time, there was an old woman who had 2 pots that she used to carry water. And she would hang them on the ends of a pole as she walked, one on each side of her. And one of the pots was very beautiful. It was shiny and it had pretty paintings all along the sides. And it was just wonderful to look at. The other pot was a little bit older. Some of its paintings had worn off, so you couldn't see them, and the paint was a little faded. But worst of all, there was a big crack along one side of it. And it was just big enough that the water could leak out as she walked. And everywhere she went, the water would just leak out of the pot and leave a trail of water along the path. But the old woman didn't throw away the pot. It still held enough water for her needs, so every day for 2 years, she would walk back and forth from her garden to her house with both pots full of water and one of them leaking water everywhere she went. And the perfect pot was so proud of itself. It loved its paintings. It loved how it shone, and it loved that it could carry so much water for the old woman. And the cracked pot felt ashamed. It felt embarrassed about the way it looked, and it felt really awful about the water that it leaked. And finally, one day, that pot spoke up. Have you ever heard of a pot that can speak? I think that made this pot pretty special right there, but the pot said, "I'm ashamed of myself, mistress. I can only carry half the water that the other pot can, because by the time we get to the garden, half of it is gone, leaked all over the ground." But the old woman just smiled, and she said, "Little pot, did you happen to notice that all along the side of the path where I carry you, there are pretty flowers that have popped up along the side? I planted them there, but I didn't plant them on the other side of the path because you are able to water the flowers. And when I walk down the path, I only look at that side because that's where the pretty flowers are. If you were not you, if you were just like the other pot, we wouldn't have those flowers." This is kind of an interesting story because I bet if you think about it, there are things about us that make us different from other people. And sometimes those are things that we don't think are too nice. Sometimes there are parts about us that we kind of wish were different and made us more like everybody else. But maybe it's those things that make us special, that make us able to do and be things and accomplish things that nobody else can, because nobody is quite like you. So whether you're a fancy new pot or a cracked old pot, be proud of who you are. All right, we're gonna do a shaker song now. I have a shaky egg here. I know that not everybody has a shaky egg at home. You can use anything that makes a rattling sound if you want to shake along. You can even make your own. I used an Easter egg, and right about now, there's a whole lot of Easter eggs out in the store that you can get. And I just put some beans in here, and then you can glue or tape, and then I put a pretty piece of ribbon around the middle, and it works really well. But you don't even have to do that. You could get a can of something and empty it out and put some beans or rice in there and shake it, or you could just use a rattle, or you can use a cat toy if you've got something that rattles. Anything that makes noise is fine. So if you've got something, you can use that. If you want to run grab it, you can hit pause. That's the good thing about having a story time on video. You can always pause me and go get what you need. But here we go. You ready? Shake your shakers in the air. Shake it here, shake it there. Shake your shakers in the air. Shake your shakers. Shake it high and shake it low. Shake it yes, shake it no. Shake it high and shake it low. Shake your shakers. Shake it up and shake it down. Shake your shaker on the ground. Shake it up and shake it down. Shake your shakers. Shake it near and shake it far. Drive your shaker like a car. Shake it near and shake it far. Shake your shakers. Shake it fast and shake it slow. Shake it stop. Shake it go. Shake it fast and shake it slow. Shake your shakers. Shake your shakers in the air. Shake it here, shake it there. Shake your shakers in the air. Shake your shakers. Good job. I hope you enjoyed story time today. I was really happy to spend time with you. You know what? At the time that I'm recording this so that you can see it later, I can look out the window and see it's snowing again. I don't know if it's snowing when you're watching this, but I think I'm going a little bit snow crazy. But I've got my blanket and my pillows, and I've got you guys, so we can make it together, can't we? For now, though, let me see you get a big stretch. Let me see you reach for the ceiling and touch the floor. Stand up again. Let's do some more. Touch your head and now your knees. Up to your shoulders, like this, you see. Reach for the ceiling and touch the floor. That's all there is. There isn't any more. Snuggle up and stay warm.